Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Development Review Commission meeting. Today is April 9th, 2024. The Development Review Commission is created to hold public meetings and hearings to provide analysis and recommendations to the City Council regarding general land use policies and applications where the Commission has recommendatory power, and to render final decisions on specified applications where the Commission has final decision-making power, including but not limited to all aspects of proposed and future development. The Development Review Commission recognizes that the creation of a desirable environment throughout the city for residents, businesses, and industry is a prime requisite for the interdependence of land values, aesthetics, and good site planning by promoting harmonious, safe, attractive, and compatible development that is therefore considered to be in the best interest of public health, safety, and general welfare. Any person aggrieved by a final decision of the Development Review Commission may file an appeal to the City Council within 14 calendar days after the Development Review Commission has rendered its decision. Development Review Commission recommendations to the City Council are not final decisions. Tonight with us on the Commission, we have to my right Commissioner Larry Tom, Commissioner Don Casano, Vice Chair Michelle Schwartz. To my left, Commissioner Linda Spears, and Commissioner Rhiannon Corbett. Tonight with us from staff, we have Jeff Tamlevich, Ryan Levake, Michelle Dalkey, Chris Jasper, Lucas Jensen, Joanna Berry, and Jason Wolf. Anyone here wishing to speak tonight from the public will be given 3 minutes to speak, and we will monitor that as appropriate. Tonight on our agenda, we have 5 items. The first item is a consideration of the meeting minutes from the study and regular meeting of March 26, 2024. Next, we will have a consent agenda, which will have 1 item, unless there is someone from the public wishing to speak on that item. That item will be item number 3, which is the food truck project. And then the last item that we will hear is item number 2, which is use permit to allow entertainment for Rusty Taco. And then announcements and miscellaneous round out the meeting. So to start, the Development Review Commission study and regular meeting minutes from March 26, 2024. Is there a motion? Commissioner Casano?
Mr. Chairman, I would make a motion for approval of the Commission study session of March 26, 2024, and the regular meeting of March 26, 2024.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Commissioner Tom is seconded. All those in favor, please raise your hand. Okay, and that passes, and Commissioner Corbett is abstaining, not in attendance that night and not wishing to vote. Okay, so those pass. Second item is our consent agenda, which will include item number 3. Was there anyone here from the public wishing to speak on the food truck project? Okay, seeing none, I'll entertain a motion for the consent agenda. Commissioner Casano?
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion for approval of PL 240048 food truck project.
Okay, a motion to approve the consent agenda. So is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Tom. All those in favor, please raise your hand. And that passes unanimously. All right, item number 2. We are here to hear the permit to allow entertainment for Rusty Taco. If the applicant would like to approach and present your case. Good evening. Please state your name and city of residence.
My name is Brandon Risk, and I live in Tempe.
Great. All right.
So we're applying for a live music permit for Rusty Taco just down the street. Our only request is conditions 9 and 11 on the application that state that the patio music should be switched to ambient at midnight, and that all doors, including garage doors, should be closed, or the live music ended at midnight. We're asking that that be extended to 2 a.m. or I think 1:55 a.m. The concern was brought up for the residents of specifically the Atmosphere Building, which we are an occupant of, that the noise would be an issue. But we have communicated with our landlord, the Atmosphere Building, about the noise specifically, and we added a condition in our lease specifically referring to the noise should we get this permit to make sure that this isn't an issue. Plain talk, we've been open for just about 2 years now and never operated with any sort of problems with the noise. We're not planning on changing anything volume-wise. The only thing we want is someone controlling music. We're not going to add in any speakers, no additional, we don't have room for a band, so we're not going to add anything. And I control the music, not whoever's playing. So we're just asking that we get to play until 2, like everybody that's around us. That's pretty much all I got.
Okay, so your specific request is to modify condition number 9 and change that to end no later than 1:55 a.m. daily?
Yes, sir. And condition 11 with effectively the same thing.
And so are you asking to have, are you asking to have 11 stricken or to be modified to 1:55 as well?
To be modified to 1:55 as well. All other conditions we are fine with.
Okay, so that's the request. Any questions for the applicant? Commissioner Tom?
You said you're going to add a condition to your lease. What is that?
When we started the application process, we had to get signed off by our landlord, the Atmosphere Building. They had concerns for their residents about the noise, and effectively what we did was get with them about noise regulation. We have decibel readers to make sure that the sound isn't too loud on the exterior, as well as it travels upwards. And all that was written into and added to the current lease that we have with them. So if there's a problem with the noise, well, one, there's not going to be a problem with the noise. And if there was, they can come to me to, regulate that.
Okay.
Commissioner Casano?
Well, that gives this, but that's in your lease and that's with your landlord. That's not with the city of Tempe. So
Yes, sir.
there might have to be a way of also being able to contact you and have you also comply to the terms of your lease. And I don't know how legally we do that, but we would have nothing in our agreement that says incorporate what we signed on our lease.
I'm afraid I don't understand what it.
Well, we wouldn't have any enforcement. You're saying the enforcement really is your landlord. If they get a call that there's a noise problem, then they contact you and you have to adjust it. But if somebody calls the city because of a noise violation, we come to you. We have no real enforcement capability because that's with with the landlord. We would have to go to the landlord and ask them to deal with it. And that wouldn't happen on a real timely basis, I don't think. So I think we'd have to look at how we would incorporate those safeguards that your landlord has worked out with you into what we're doing here. So I'm asking that the staff be able to look at that and work with you and come to some agreement on how that would work. So
Absolutely.
that you could deal with that. So.
And just to kind of for that comment, like I said, we have been operating for almost 2 years. We opened July 11 of 2022, and we've operated without any issues from the city. And what we're trying to do is we're not going to change how we operate. So I understand what you're saying, but we're not going to do anything different than what we're doing now. Say for someone's controlling songs not controlling volume. So we don't plan on being a nuisance to the city or the residents around us. But I understand your concern, sir.
Yeah, I would just ask the staff when it's time to discuss this to tell us, these conditions approval, if you were to sell the business, do these permits disappear and then we have to start over again, or are they transferable? That's what we need to verify. So that we would be assured that if you were to leave it for whatever reason, that we would have the same assurances for any new tenant or owner of the business. So I think it's just a matter of clarification of some of the things so that the city still has some ability to show that we have asked for these things to be in, and that if there are serious problems, the city can act on those versus dealing only with your landlord.
Yes, sir.
Vice Chair Schwartz?
Yeah, I just noted in the record that you were issued non-compliance back in May of last year, 2023. Almost a year has gone by. Can you share what you've done in the meantime regarding live entertainment?
Well, May was last year. I didn't know that I needed a permit to have a DJ. And so for Cinco de Mayo, we had a DJ on premise. And I got a letter from the city saying, hey, you need to have a permit to have a DJ. And that's when I started the process of getting the permit, which is what led us to today.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
So you stated a couple times you're not going to change the way you do anything in the future than you do today, basically. But you're here to get a permit to change the way that you do things. So
Right.
That is so that you can be in compliance if you would like to invite a DJ in to play again. Is that 'cause you said you wouldn't have bands?
Correct.
What is the intent?
I guess let me rephrase. As far as the volume is concerned, we're not going to change how that is operated. We certainly have it lower during the day, a little bit louder at night, weekends, which is typical for any place. But how we do that won't change. The DJ is there to basically control what songs are being played when. They're not there to control the volume. And they're not bringing in extra speakers to produce extra sound or anything like that. So as far as how much noise is going out into the neighborhood, that will not change from what we've been doing and how we've been operating.
Okay.
Does that answer your question, sir?
Yes.
No, sorry.
Yes. Any other questions for the applicant? All right, thank you.
Awesome.
We
Thank
may
you.
call you back up.
No problem. Thank you.
And Mr. Jasper. Staff presentation time.
Clicker somewhere?
Good evening, Chair, members of the Development Review Commission. My name is Chris Jasper. I'm a senior planner here in the Planning Division at the City of Tempe, and I'll be presenting this item. As you're aware, this is a request for a use permit to allow an entertainment use at the Rusty Taco, which is located at 707 South Forest Avenue, specifically in suite number 112. The applicant in this case is the Rusty Taco. The use is an existing restaurant located in the mixed-use atmosphere building, which was entitled in 2019 and constructed in 2020. The Rusty Taco began business operations in approximately 2022. The applicant has provided a floor plan identifying where the DJ stage would be located interior to the restaurant space. They also provided a little bit of information about where their existing speakers are located, as well as the general directionality of those speakers. In particular, there are 4 existing downward-facing speakers on the exterior of the building, located above seating areas facing Forest Avenue, which on this plan is on the south, pointing down, and on 7th Avenue, which would be facing right on the plan. The applicant has provided some context photos that are relevant to the conditions that are to be discussed. You can kind of see the exterior speaker in the top portion behind a column in that left-hand picture, excuse me. Likewise, the interior photo on the right identifies or shows the overhead doors that are the subject of condition number 11, which we'll get into a little bit later. Some additional context photos of the interior of the restaurant. Staff evaluated the use permit request and found that it is consistent with our use permit criteria, and so we have recommended approval based on an evaluation of those criteria. However, I do want to point to item number 5 in our evaluation, which does identify adequate control of disruptive behavior, both inside and outside the premises. We do require a security plan that is evaluated by our police department, which will be required as part of this approval. A neighborhood meeting was not required as part of the use permit process, and no public input has been provided to staff related to this case as of this hearing date. And so staff is recommending approval subject to conditions. The applicant has reviewed those conditions and does wish to modify 9 and 10 as stated in the staff report. To kind of get into the how and why those conditions and all of these unique conditions of approval were drafted, staff always routes use permit requests, especially those related to entertainment and live entertainment uses, to our police department for review. And they did identify some concerns associated with basically broadcasts to those outdoor speakers on the patio, and concerns with potential noise impacts to residents, both of the Atmosphere building as well as residents across the street in the Union Tempe development that is located across, I believe it's 7th Avenue. And so the staff put together these conditions in order to kind of control volume emissions beginning at midnight to kind of reduce noise levels that may impact residents. And we did, request that those live broadcasts be, halted at midnight on a daily basis, and that those overhead doors be closed only during those live performances at midnight. And so I want to be very clear that these conditions are associated specifically with the live entertainment activities and would not be applicable during general operating hours. So if there's a live performance, close the overhead doors at midnight. Otherwise, they can stay open. So that concludes my presentation, and I'm available if there are any questions.
Mr. Chairman. Chris, how do you define live entertainment?
So live entertainment in our code, I actually have the definition written down here, refers to any presentation or participation in dancing, musical instrumentation, or similar activities that are controlled or created by, an individual. So it is music that is, created for the purpose of
a
entertainment.
DJ playing recorded music, is that considered live entertainment?
That is considered live entertainment for the purposes of a use permit evaluation, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Commissioner Spears?
Condition number 4 says live entertainment to cease at 1:55 a.m. daily. And then condition 9 is saying that no later than midnight, they appear to be.
Chair, Commissioner Spears, to clarify, live entertainment is allowed to take place inside the suite until 1:55 on a daily basis. And that's pretty consistent with our use permits for entertainment throughout the downtown core. What number 9 does is it requires that the applicant halt the live entertainment, the music, broadcasts to the outdoor patio spaces at midnight. So the music interior can continue to play, but it cannot be broadcast
Okay,
outside of the
and tell
suite.
me again, we had this at one of our last cases. Why is it different to have the same speakers broadcasting recorded music versus live music or a DJ?
Thank you, Chair Commissioner Spears. So the intent is to kind of bring or kind of halt the transmission of a singular kind of source of noise, both inside and outside of the building. So essentially, we're trying to limit the amount of broadcasted music in multiple sources, sort of to quiet it down more on the outside.
Okay, but if it's all going through the same sound system, so we're not bringing in additional speakers for the DJ. So they're using the exact same sound system, whether it's recorded music or a DJ playing music. So I guess I'm missing, I mean, is it a volume issue and you're expecting that DJ music is going to be louder than?
Chair,
music?
Commissioner Spears, that's always a possibility, so we would like to preempt that, should that music be louder. But really what it is intended to do is, let me find my notes here, kind of bring the proverbial party inside, such that, the live entertainment activity is taking place all in the confined environment of the suite and not spilling out into the outdoor patio spaces.
And is that consistent with the requirements of other entertainment venues in the downtown area?
Chair Commissioner Spears, yes. We have established these types of conditions of approval in multiple locations. Most recently, I was involved in a use permit request for Bang Bang at the corner of Mill and Fifth, where we halted outdoor transmission of inside noises, a DJ, specifically at midnight. We've also had another location, Dark Star Trumbull's, which had similar conditions.
Thank you.
So this is consistent with those conditions as well.
Commissioner Tom?
So my question is, if they had house music or recorded music, they could have that music play outside until they closed at 1:55.
Chair Commissioner Tom, that is correct. Yeah. So ambient noise would be permitted at those outdoor speakers until that 1:55 close of business time.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions for staff? Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, excuse me for just a moment.
Yes.
Mr. Casano had asked about a change of ownership, and we do have in our code that use permits can be transferable to successors in interest, but it has to go through an administrative process through staff, and that doesn't change any of the conditions of approval. So it's simply just changing the ownership in our records associated with that use permit.
Okay.
If Rusty Taco ceased to exist and a new tenant moved into that building, we'd start the process all over again.
Well, they would be, if they got the use permit transfer, which they would be required to do, they would have to adhere to those same conditions.
Okay.
And that reminded me that there was a question related to the lease, conditions of their lease being somehow incorporated into the conditions of approval. I'm seeing a no nod over
No,
there.
that's a civil matter. That's not anything that we can enforce. So we recommend these conditions of approval instead associated with the use permit.
Commissioner Tom?
Is there a way that we can put a condition in here for administrative review after, say, 6 months?
Chair Commissioner Tom, I do believe we have had instances where we have evaluated the conditions of a site after approval to determine whether the use permit is valid.
Compliance or not in compliance, or it's too loud or whatever.
Yes, I do believe that is something we've had. We can certainly insert that condition. I don't recall off the top of my head what the specific language is, but I know we've utilized it in the past.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily want them to have to come back to us for review. So,
administrative
right, so if it's administrative review and they're being nice neighbors, they don't need to come back and see us. If they're not being nice neighbors, then they come back and see us.
Yeah. Yeah, if you might, while we go through the public comment period, if you might see if there's some language that would allow us to include that as a condition for them to come back for an administrative review after 6 to 9 months, something in that matter.
Chair Johnson, I'll take a look. I just can't recall off the top of my head if that process is administrative or if a subsequent Development Review Commission hearing would be required.
Yeah, I think we've done it before.
Okay.
Yeah. Was it?
The Catalyst,
Yeah, that's right.
Chris was
it's
out at
Catalyst,
that
yeah.
time, so we just very recently, Chris.
Okay. Yes, certainly we can insert that and
Okay.
Just I have a point of clarification here.
Yes,
In
Mr. Casano.
condition number 9, it talks about complies with chapter 20, noise of the city of Tempe, Tempe City Code. I don't know what level that is, but is that something that allows them to broadcast after 12 o'clock?
Chair Commissioner Casano, that is correct. They can broadcast the ambient noise through those speakers after the midnight time. They just wouldn't be able to broadcast the live entertainment, the music being produced as part of that activity. And then the reference to the city code, identifies that any noise transmitted out of the speakers can't be a nuisance, essentially, as defined by our city code.
So by changing this to 1:55 a.m., it still has to comply with chapter 20 of the noise.
Chair Commissioner Casano, that is correct. Yes, the ordinance would apply regardless.
Vice Chair. Oh,
I guess theoretically, if we were to change condition 11, it would be null unless their operating hours were greater than 2 a.m.
Chair Commissioner Schwartz, that is correct. If we were to extend condition number 11 to allow the overhead doors to be open until 1:55, that would essentially allow them to keep it open all night until they close, yeah.
Thank you.
so trying to gather all of these pieces together, it seems like this condition. So if they were to play the radio outside at the same volume as the live music were to be played outside, as would be required by the code, they could have the same amount of noise emanating from their premises from midnight to 1:55, whether that's live music or if that's some other type of music, the radio.
Chair Commissioner Johnson, fundamentally, yes, the level of noise would be required to kind of meet our noise ordinance requirements, regardless of whether it's live entertainment or the ambient noise. As I kind of noted, the intent really is to ensure that the live entertainment use after midnight, that activity, everything associated with it, the broadcast, the noise, is all contained within the suite. And by cutting off that live broadcast, that is kind of a move to do that, in essence, in combination with closing those overhead doors. So what we're trying to do is ensure that that component of the activity is entirely enclosed within the restaurant area, and not in the patio area.
So let me ask you a hypothetical. Could they record what the DJ was planning to play that night and then just play that outside?
Chair Commissioner Johnson,
That's exactly what I was just going to say.
Mr. Chairman, Commission, Jeff Tamulevich, Community Development Director. All good questions. To be completely blunt, we've had issues with live entertainment And it doesn't really boil down to, is it, the level of the music. We're concerned that when live music plays, that music seems to emanate outside. When they have doors open, you've seen conditions like that in the past. When they have windows open, when they have speakers. The business owner is correct. We haven't had problems with the music that they've been playing at this time. But they haven't had live entertainment. They've only had live entertainment once, and we did identify that there was an issue. We did identify that there was live entertainment being played. So, these are great questions. Yes, we do allow music to be played on the patio, but we're trying to protect ourselves. We're trying to protect the right-of-way. We're trying to protect the people in the downtown. Music seems to emanate more when there's live entertainment. And that's, the evidence, or that's the experience that we've had here at the City of Tempe with most businesses.
Other questions, Commissioner Tom?
The violation, or code compliance issue, was that a citizen called code compliance issue, or was that our code compliance officers driving around and noticed that they had?
I believe the complaint came from PD, and it went to code compliance.
Okay.
Citizen complaint then. Somebody had to complain to the PD that there was noise there. Unless they,
and I don't have that information, so I can't really tell you.
Okay. Thank you for the presentation.
Thank you.
All right, now we will move on to the public comment period. Was there anyone here tonight wishing to speak on this item from the public? Okay, seeing none. Okay, if you can, you're with the applicant?
I am, yeah.
Okay, so we'll go ahead and we'll keep the public comment period open, but we'll invite the applicant up to respond to the conversation that we've had up here since there's no one from the public wishing to speak.
Hi, Commission. My name is Daniel. I'm one of the owners as well. I guess my only comment is just kind of in regards to what type of business we are and what we're looking to do. We're not a live music venue by any means. We're just a small restaurant bar. We're valued member, Tempe Chamber, business finalist. The reason we brought up the landlord is we're obviously very hyper concerned about the volume levels as well, and sort of the way we operate and do business. The reason we wanted to pursue this permit was so that we could have a DJ to curate that music for our guests, sort of on our behalf, so we didn't need to have, a radio station or have managers worried about that aspect. Like Brandon mentioned earlier, we actually did not realize, this is our own naivety, that a DJ did consist of a live musician. And as soon as that was found out, we ceased doing it altogether. We have not had any noise complaints that have been brought to our attention at any point from either residents of our building or Union. And the person playing the music in the venue as a DJ would have no control over the ability to go louder than what's already being played as ambient music anyways. So when we kind of discuss the purpose of having this, it is to ensure that we remain competitive with our competitors who do have the ability to have live DJ until 2 a.m., venues like Casa or even Bang Bang that are able to do that, and we're not able to because we don't have the permit to do so. Having the garage doors closed does cut off half of our business from the ability to order drinks at the bar. So it would be a limiting factor in our ability to use this permit to the effect that we intend. And then also, just that being said, whether the garage doors are open or closed, the music coming from the inside does not really impact in any significant way the decibel readings or levels outside. We have tested that with decibel readers ourselves as well, and you would be welcome to do so as well at the settings that we do permit, and that our system is even capable of going. Our patio speakers are not designed for extremely high levels of volume. Again, having a DJ is just to create an atmosphere that helps us do better business and generate more revenue and survive a turbulent restaurant market. So,
Do you have any comment on our conversation related to adding a condition of approval for administrative review in the future for compliance?
we think that's completely fine.
Any other questions for the applicant? Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Any other comments from staff before we go to commissioner discussion?
Thank you, Chair Commissioner Johnson. The final point I just wanted to make is that the use permit is associated with entertainment, live music, kind of broadly. So although there's been a lot of discussion about DJs and, broadcasting, pre-recorded music, these conditions are also intended to preempt any live performances by bands or other, forms of entertainment beyond just a DJ. So I just wanted to make that point of clarification that's what the intent is on this suite of conditions.
Yeah, so there's not really flexibility for having a specific case for this one defined very well because this live music term applies to a lot of different types of music, and what they're planning to do, it sounds fairly reasonable to allow them to continue to do that until they close. But my concern with that is that that is setting a precedent to some extent, or could be considered a precedent, and other businesses that have to comply with their current, the conditions that were allowed them to have live music could cite this example as problematic.
Chair Commissioner Johnson, I totally understand. I will note that we have had similar conditions with similar cutoffs and similar, time restraints, closed doors as of midnight, halt outdoor broadcasts of live entertainment occurring indoor on other use permits. So this would not necessarily be the precedent-setting case, but really keeping in with previous use permits that have been approved.
Right, but you're saying that if we were to modify the conditions of approval and allow them to have music until 1:55, that would not be setting some kind of precedent, potentially?
Chair, excuse me. I do think modifying, particularly condition number 9, would kind of change some of the, or go against some of the previous conditions that we've put before the commission. 11 is a little more unique in that it affects overhead doors. When we've had similar live entertainment use permits come before the commission, we've more identified closing, doors to patio spaces. Bang Bang, for example, has second-story patio spaces that they were required to basically close those during live entertainment or performances. So really, the difference here is just the mechanics of that opening. So this is similar to, but specifically worded for this particular use.
Right. Other questions for staff? Commissioner Casano?
There's no way to limit this, basically, when you talk about live entertainment, to DJs only. That would be a condition you'd have to put in, and I don't know whether legally we could enforce that. We
Yeah,
define
you can.
live entertainment differently.
You can define the type of live entertainment. So if you wanted to say DJs only and no live bands, that is an option for you. We have some use permits in the city of Tempe which have live entertainment for acoustic only, for instance. So it's an option that you have. And, I think from what I heard from the applicant, that doesn't sound like they're interested in live bands at all. If you go that route, I would recommend that you do add that as a condition and also, bring it back for review.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, good. That's a very good clarification. I appreciate that.
I have a question for staff.
Commissioner Tom?
I'm old, so I don't know what we consider a DJ, but DJ plays just replays recorded music, right? So how is that any different? Maybe we define what a DJ is in the future, so we can figure this out. Because what I understand is DJ, he's just replaying a mix of recorded music.
Correct. Yeah, and when we think of live entertainment, when we think of live bands, we're
Right.
thinking of drums and guitars and
Right. I
instruments.
see live entertainment band performers different than some guy or girl replaying music. Could be loud, but
Yeah, but it may be easier to monitor DJ played music than it is, somebody banging on the drums.
right. Okay.
Other questions?
We've come a long way.
This is, yeah. Good discussion on music tonight. All right. Any other questions for staff? Okay, thank you. All right. Commission discussion.
Well, I'm not gonna try
Commissioner
with the
Casano.
motion, but I'm gonna say, we need to clarify, does number 11 stay in here with the overhead doors closed to 1:55 if you're gonna allow a DJ only?
Yeah, it seems like that could be stricken if
Right.
someone
And
decides
if
they
we
want to.
then put in number 9
for
or
9.
somewhere added into one of these other conditions, that it's DJ music only. No
Correct.
live I just call it DJ music.
Can I make
or
a
something.
suggestion?
Commissioner Spears?
We could actually eliminate number 9 and number 11 and modify number 4 just to define live entertainment. Is live entertainment, in this case, means DJ, and it's to cease at 1:55 a.m.
And still comply with the Chapter 20 noise.
And we don't
They
have to say that.
They have to anyway.
It
right?
has to. I mean, that'll be part of the security plan as well, I'm sure. So, I mean, the police are going to do this later, but I think that if it's an issue, we can absolutely have it come back for administrative review in 6 months. And if they're not good neighbors, then they'll know about it.
Sounds like
you
number
like
10 could be stricken as well. Because it says during all other times of business operation. There are no other times of business operation if we
Right.
change that to 1:55.
Yeah, that would also, again, because the music is the music, whether it's recorded off of a machine that they're playing, or if it's a DJ playing it, it's going through the same sound system, and it's going to be at those same volume levels.
It's easier to control that volume.
Yeah. Would you like a motion?
Yes, let's hear a motion.
I move that we approve, look up the PL. PL 240042, with the inclusion of defining live entertainment as DJs only to condition number 4, and eliminating conditions number 9, 10, and 11, and adding a provision that they will come back for an administrative review in 6 months.
Sound good? All right, is there a second?
I would second that motion.
Okay, seconded by Commissioner Casano. put forward by Commissioner Spears. All those in favor, please raise your hand. And that passes unanimously. All right. All right, thank you for coming tonight for item number 2, Rusty Taco. On to item number 4, commission member announcements. Any announcements tonight? It's a quiet night for announcements. All right, city staff announcements.
There are no city staff announcements. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Okay. All right, with that, we are adjourned. Thank you.